Hey everybody, this is Michael Mann from Michael Mann Security Services, and this is a podcast dedicated to helping you protect the people and things you love most. And remember, it's about prevention, not response. And here we are again, Michael Mann Security Services. You can find us on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and YouTube. And I'm going to flip this thing again, and I'm going to turn this over to Steven.
Oh, yeah.
And let him be the host today, and I'm going to sit in the guest chair.
I love putting you in the guest chair.
I know you do.
It's so fun. I get to throw you over there and toss questions at you, and then you got to, quickly come up with the answers. Does it feel good?
I love it. I love it.
Dude, great. A lot of great podcasts, by the way, that Michael and I have done, and I think that if you haven't been able to listen to any, you need to go check them out. MichaelMannSecurityServices.com. You could also find it wherever you get podcasts. So Apple, Android, Google Play, whatever. Look for your podcasts. Okay, this one, what are we talking about? Well, Michael, we're talking about security consultants.
My favorite.
This is your favorite. You happen to be a security
Yes.
consultant. And so I love starting off with the super easy questions. And this one's the easiest of them all. What is a security consultant?
Yeah, a security consultant is a person that has some detailed experience in a security-related function.
That sounds so technical.
Yeah, it does. So it's somebody that has an idea or has experience in security, and so
Somebody with a background, experience,
Yeah.
expertise in security.
yeah, it could be in risk assessments or guard forces or self-defense. So yeah, someone with a background in those types of services.
So there's a whole wide range of different types of security consultants. then.
Absolutely, IT security, physical security.
Maybe like personal bodyguards.
Yeah, executive protection. Yeah,
People who, try to stop ransomware from invading your computer.
absolutely, very important.
Yeah. So let's tailor it into what kind of security consultant you are. Then what are you?
Yeah, I'm doing physical security, so that deals with anything from risk and threat assessments for your facility, how to protect you and your family. It could be training programs for your employees, your congregation. So a very a very broad range of physical security topics.
Very cool. Okay, so we know what a security consultant is. That was pretty easy. I guess the next question would be, why would somebody need one?
Yeah, it's a lot of times it's a lot easier to bring someone in from the outside to design a program, or most importantly, to tell you what your problem is.
Yeah.
When we work for a certain organization, we work for ourselves, and there's an issue that comes up. A lot of times, we just don't know how to solve the problem.
You need an expert.
Yeah. So go get an expert from the outside to tell you how to solve the problem.
Yeah.
Or maybe we don't even know what the problem is, and a lot of times that's what we use consultants for, to tell us what the problem is.
Yeah, somebody who can look at it. This is, I think, common across the board, no matter what industry you're talking, whether it's security, anything at all. Sometimes you get somebody completely outside of your bubble.
Yeah.
Who can look at your bubble and go, you could do it better this way.
Yeah.
That's the basis of a consultant.
Absolutely. I worked for a very, very large global corporation once, and was asked to do. My boss came and said, "Hey, we need to do risk assessments for facilities here and actually all over the world." So I got ready to do that, and I actually got a call, or was pulled into a meeting about 3 days later, and said, "You know what? We're going to bring a consultant in.
Yeah.
It's better to have an outside look
Yes.
at what's going on and let them tell us how to do this."
I had kind of a similar experience as a pastor. I was doing consultant work for churches where I would go in, and it wasn't for security or anything like that. It was for the organization of the church, how the church was organized.
Yeah.
And when I first began doing that, I would go in, having never met the pastor, having never been to any of their services, having never known the people, and I would get hired in to go to churches, and they would say, "All right, come to the church and just give us your analysis." So I would sit down in the pew and pretend I was a visitor.
Yeah.
And I would just see how the process went. And then, of course, I'd look behind the scenes. And that alone is so helpful, because whether you're talking about churches or security, or if you've got a small business, maybe somebody owns a cupcake store and they think they're making cupcakes perfectly, bring in somebody who's never seen your store and ask them to eat your cupcake. You know?
Try this. What do you think?
Try my cupcakes, And so this is great. So you do physical security. How do you choose somebody then? So my Lord, this could probably end up being a really big field of security consultants. How do you narrow that lane down a little bit?
Yeah, so first, specifically look for, if you think you've got a problem in physical security, obviously look for a physical security person. So, number of things. So, background. Did they have a background? So, if you have a problem in, say it's workplace violence, then does the person have experience in dealing with workplace violence incidents, planning, training, response? Look for that and ask that question. Certifications. There are some very specific certifications that a lot of security consultants have.
What are some of those security certifications?
Yeah, so ASIS, the American Society for Industrial Security, has a number of, it's kind of the standards in corporate security. So they have something called CPP, Certified Protection Professional, it's kind of like the gold standard in security management. So it covers a very broad range of topics, including physical security, investigations, crisis management. So someone most of the time with a CPP certification means that they've got most of the time education and a certain amount of experience and training, and they've taken the time to get that certification. It's not an easy certification to get.
It takes a little while.
It does. Takes a while. So you've got to have again, a very specific time in security management. You've got to have a certain education level, and you've got to have some knowledge.
Is it just like many other industries? Does word of mouth go a long way as well? I mean, recommendations, should you listen for other people's recommendations?
It does. A lot of security consultants, a lot of their work comes from recommendations where they've done work for one organization or one person, and that person recommends them to someone else. The person that uses them is at the dinner table, and somebody says, hey, I need this. And they're like, hey, I know a guy that does that. So, yeah. But if, when you do that, I would follow up. Do they have certification? Are they trained? Today, there are educational programs. Unlike 20 years ago, say, pre 9/11, no one knew what a security degree was. Today, there are very specific degrees, both bachelor's degrees, master's degrees, even some PhDs in security.
Very specific.
Very, very specific in security.
I remember one time I needed to have my yard sprayed. We had some insects that were kind of driving me crazy, and so I went and got this. I did a search, an online search, and I found this guy. He came out and he sprayed it, and it was terrible. Like nothing changed. As a matter of fact, I'll say it this way: it made things worse. We had opened up our pool. He had sprayed. Some of the chemicals had gotten in the pool. We had to completely clean the pool out, and on top of it, it didn't kill any of the things I wanted to kill. So I thought to myself, I know now how to look for negatives in bug sprayers. Like I know what to look for. When it comes to church, not church, but just security consultants in general, and you do physical security, what are some things to be on the lookout for in a negative way that you could say, that's a red flag, I probably don't want to choose that guy?
Yep. That you're solving problems with guns, right? Everything's responsive in nature. What I want to look for is
kind of like that Rambo feel?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. What I'm looking for is someone that's going to solve a problem, and that problem that they're trying to solve, the answer is going to fit into the culture of where we are. What does that mean? That's a red flag. Like, right away, if I've got a problem with theft, right? So that's probably not going to be solved by a gun, right? That's very responsive. I want to know what it is that's going to deter theft, what systems I can set up to stop it. So someone that's going to come in, or some of the things that are going to be something that's going to be like a red flag is going to be very specifically. They've got one answer for every problem.
So it feels like I'm just imagining somebody hardcore. It's like they just jumped out of a special ops mission. They landed in your front yard. It's like, we're going to get you super secure.
Yeah, sure. I mean, that's probably not the person that I want to provide work. Probably not the person that's going to set up access control in a church, right? That's an example. That's probably not the person that needs to do that. And there are a lot of folks that retire from law enforcement and that come out straight out of the military, and they get into security consulting.
Yeah.
Are they really, really good at special operations? Yeah, probably. Are they really, really good at like police work? Yes, but that's a totally different function from physical protection.
Sure. Let's get where it matters to a lot of people. Let's talk money.
Yeah.
All right, money's a big deal. Low and high end prices for a consultant. Let's say somebody's shopping for one. Man, I need a physical security consultant. What's kind of the cheap model? What's the luxurious high end model?
Yeah, the cheaper model, I've just from experience, I've Observe security consultants charge as little as $75 an hour. And then for your higher end security consultants, you're going to pay about $300 to $350 an hour.
Wow.
Yeah. Most of the time, that's with a big corporation, like a large consulting firm that does work internationally. But that's the range, anywhere from about $75 an hour up to about $300 to $350 an hour.
Cool, man. This is very helpful. Hopefully, people kind of get a better grasp on what it means to hire a consultant and kind of narrow that lane a little bit.
Yeah.
So you could find Michael. You could find him michaelmannsecurityservices.com, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and YouTube. Hey, go listen to another podcast.